Hobby Lobby loses over 10-year fight to block trans women from the female bathroom. So this is like, there's a lot going on. On August 13th, 2021, Illinois Second District Appellate Court declared that Meggan Sommerville, a trans woman who was in a legal battle with her employer Hobby Lobby over bathroom access, is no doubt a female and, quote, just like the women who are permitted to use the women's bathroom. In 2011, Hobby Lobby denied Sommerville access to the women's bathroom. That same year, she was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and one of the symptoms includes a weakened bladder. Sommerville was disciplined for using the women's bathroom for employees, which was more easily accessible from her workstation than the unisex bathroom from customers that she was mandated to use by Hobby Lobby. In 2013, she filed complaints with the Illinois Human Rights Commission for Hobby Lobby's unlawful sanction. In 2019, the commission ruled that Hobby Lobby's policy is unlawful and has violated state laws. Hobby Lobby appealed the commission's ruling, and that brings us to the decision recently. The court also upheld the $220,000 fine for emotional distress and attorney's fees, with an option for that compensation to be greater. So for those who are not familiar, Hobby Lobby is a very notorious business in the United States. They had a big fight over the Affordable Care Act a few years ago. And I'm not super familiar with it, but basically it's a contention over having to provide health care for their employees. And they had a contention with this because they are an explicitly Christian business, and they were refusing to pay for treatments that included birth control, IUD, hormonal pills, etc., because they characterized that as abortion, basically, because it prevents conception, and they very firmly believe that life begins at conception. That went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and that resulted in the decision that basically private businesses have the same protected religious rights as an individual. So that was a very contentious decision. They've become very notorious for that, and notorious for their anti-reproductive health stance, and many other things. And this was another thing that they were very notorious for, and that's been going on for many, many years. And this decision was very interesting because the judges that brought down this most recent decision were all conservative, like I think they might even be all Christian women as well. But
really,
they could not deny that Hobby Lobby was unequivocally engaged in sex discrimination, because the state of Illinois recognizes Meggan as a woman. They recognize her sex as female. So they're saying you refusing to allow her to go to the bathroom in your business with the same place as the other women is sex discrimination, because you recognize actually Meggan as a woman. You recognize her sex as a woman in your documentation and stuff, because she is considered one under the state of Illinois. There's no, at the time when we published this, there wasn't any word that Hobby Lobby was going to maybe appeal this. There is that option though. So there is potential that this could even go as high as the Supreme Court if they do try to fight this further. But this has very far and broad-reaching implications regarding the transgender bathroom debate in the state of Illinois, let alone the country. This is a case that is setting a huge precedent.
Wow, it took 10 years. Oh yeah, this is great news. First of all, I want to address this. Robert saying, so Armin, my private company, they make the rules, because I keep saying like private companies get to have their own personal rules, but not okay. Roberts, that doesn't mean that they could have any rules that they want. Okay, like for example, private companies can't, like, it's against the law if private companies decide that we don't serve, I don't know, certain ethnic groups in our store. That is illegal. Okay, like, are you like, obviously, right? Can, you can't just, like, for example, you can't be like, oh yeah, there's a law of the land, but in our private company you get to harass women as soon as you enter our store. It's just like the law of the land don't apply anymore. Like, no. You can have your own rules as long as
In
it
this
doesn't
store,
violate.
murder is legal.
Yeah, as soon as you enter our stores, murder is now legal. Like, no, you don't get to do that. Like, there's certain limitations to what you can do as a private company, and this is a fair limitation, given that we all accepted that, for example, the limitation of bigotry and discrimination based on biological attributes. That's a very good law that we have, a limitation that we have on private companies rules. This applies. Like, if anybody agrees that any private company saying that we don't serve, I'm not going to say it because YouTube might be sensitive, this people, we don't serve these people here, these, like, X people not allowed, and this X is a biological attribute or an ethnic group. If you agree that that is discrimination and should be illegal, it applies to any other form of discrimination by private companies, and it should be illegal. And it would be so, I don't even understand how anybody could argue that this would not be a form of discrimination based on biological traits, right? I still don't understand. By the way, it's amazing, Susanna, that you mentioned that the people who decided against Hobby Lobby, they were conservative, but this was such a clear case that they had to accept, like, yeah, this is discrimination. You guys
And
lose.
Meggan actually even recognizes that. She's like, it's undeniable. Like, they use this kind of language in the decision. Well, actually,
Wow.
Can I read some things from it?
Yeah.
So here are the 4 key findings by the appellate justices, who were 3 white cisgender heterosexual conservative women in their 60s and 70s. Just give you a glimpse at the demographic. Quote, number one, the only reason that Sommerville is barred from using the women's bathroom is that she is a transgender woman, unlike the other women, at least as far as Hobby Lobby knows. 2, Hobby Lobby argues that it was simply acting as a reasonable employer and enforcing its rules about separate bathrooms by keeping a male out of the women's bathroom. But Hobby Lobby itself recognizes that Sommerville is female. Hobby Lobby's unlawful discrimination was not designating bathrooms by sex, but denying Sommerville access to the bathroom that matched her sex. 3, existence of the unisex bathroom is irrelevant to the main issue in this case, which is whether Hobby Lobby violated Sommerville's civil rights in denying her, but not other women, access to the women's bathroom. Hobby Lobby's provision of a unisex bathroom available to all employees and customers cannot cure its unequal treatment of Sommerville with respect to the women's bathroom. The final argument raised by Hobby Lobby regarding its bathroom ban, that it is necessary to protect other women from Sommerville, lacks support in either record or logic. There is simply no evidence that Sommerville's use of the women's bathroom would pose a safety risk to other women. The presence of a transgender person poses no greater inherent risk to privacy or safety than that posed to anyone else who uses the bathroom. These are 3 conservative judges.
Wow, amazing. Okay, Susie, can you give me an opportunity to call out some moronic takes in the live chat?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
So I'm gonna call out Roberts and last year's name for being idiots for a bit. Okay. Because they think I'm being inconsistent for what private companies can do. Based on our previous news that we covered, I'm just going to mention it just a little bit because for the people that are only watching this segment but not the previous one, because in the previous segment I was saying if a private company wants to tell like some Sikhs that they can't have their daggers inside their private areas, as long as that rule is applying to everybody consistently, they have that right to do that. That's not discrimination, right? That is just taking a religious privilege that is not discriminating against a group of people based on their religion. Okay, so Robert saying, Armin, I made that very point, but you can't harass religious practices either. Like, so for example, they're saying I'm supporting this, saying that this is good, that you're not letting private companies discriminate against trans people, but I'm being inconsistent because, like I said, private companies should be able to say your religion shouldn't allow you to not have daggers in our private company, and they're calling that harassing religious practices, right? And another person here, last username is being a moron as well, is saying, why is discrimination against trans people not okay, but discrimination against people with religious daggers is? You guys are incapable of even paying attention to a single word I'm saying. Maybe like see what's like blocking your ears, but like, or like, I don't know if you just have lower understanding capacity. I don't know what's wrong with you. Okay, I specifically said it's not a form of religious discrimination. I mean, and also Roberts, your definition of harassment is so bizarre. Okay, it's not discrimination because you're treating people equally. You're not giving them a privilege that other people are not enjoying. Okay, it's not a form of religious discrimination, you idiots, if you're being consistent with the rules that you apply to religious people and non-religious people. Okay, that's what's different. I am in favor of these laws on private companies not letting them to discriminate against trans people because it's in favor of treating people equally. I'm also not in favor of giving people religious privileges, again, because I'm in favor of treating people equally. Okay, your religion shouldn't be an excuse for people to discriminate against you, but it also shouldn't be an excuse for you to have privileges that other people don't enjoy. How hard that is to understand. I specifically said with the Sikh example, if the police were treating the Sikh in a way different that they would have treated somebody that if they had a knife, but they weren't Sikh, if they were treated the same way that they would have done with someone else who wasn't religious Sikh, then that means that they're doing the right thing. But if they were being more strict on them because they're Sikh, that would be a form of religious discrimination, and that would be wrong. It's about equal treatment. How is it that our community still doesn't understand the difference between discrimination and taking privileges away? You guys are this is so simple. This is so simple. Your religion shouldn't give you advantages in laws and treatment over other people. Okay, you get to practice your whatever you want to practice, as long as that is not an excuse for you to demand different laws and different rules that gives you certain privileges over other people. You don't get to have that. Your religion is only special to you. It shouldn't be special to other people. You shouldn't be able to demand better treatment from other people because of your, magic sky lady or woo stuff or whatever you're into. This is so freaking simple. I don't understand how hard it is for you people to understand this. Okay, but Suze, I have a question. I don't even know, like, as dumb as conservative arguments are, this bathroom argument is so dumb beyond everything else that I don't even understand their point. Like with the other ones, I also have a hard time understanding their point, but at least I see what they're trying to get at, right? But with this bathroom stuff, what is it that they're even trying to do? Like, what is it? Like, what is this hill that they're dying on?
They're trying to say that they, like, one argument was that they made reasonable accommodation for her, meaning saying she got like written up at her job for using the women's bathroom. So they said, like, okay, your option is that you go use the unisex bathroom. And there were like specific issues about why that wasn't a good accommodation. But as the court ruled, like, that's besides the point. That's outside of the fact that you were denying her access to this. They said that she could only use the women's bathroom if she came back with her birth certificate changed and sex reassignment surgery. I don't know why that's their business. And so that's how they approached this argument to begin with, is like they made accommodations, that they had these concerns about the safety of their other employees, et cetera, et cetera. But now that the court ruled that doesn't stand, there were people who were analyzing this case because it does it is kind of a first of its kind in this area, that were saying if they choose to appeal this, they're likely going to play the Christian card. They're going to play their deeply held beliefs card. So that could be in the future.
Yeah, they want religious privileges. That's what they want.
Yeah, that's what they did last time in 2014.
Yeah. So again, it's actually, I'm being very consistent. Actually, people are thinking I'm being contradictory. Actually, no, I'm being very consistent. These people don't get to play by different rules and different laws because they're Christian, right? I'm in favor of taking the religious privileges of Hobby Lobby away from them. It's like, you don't get to say like, but my Sky Daddy said so. That shouldn't be an argument that is been taken seriously anywhere in the world. Okay, it is, unfortunately, but it shouldn't be. But Susie, what I was trying to say that I don't understand is like why. So I know Christians, the reason why they're doing this, what their actual reason is because they're bigots. Okay, but what they would say, I think, is like, we're protecting little girls in washroom from like that's like, because they can't come out and say that. Like,
well,
why
they can't
don't you
say
want
little girls because they were barring her from the employees' restroom.
Okay, so
they were saying that they were protecting their female employees.
Okay, okay, so that's what they have to say, which is so stupid because that's not what they're saying is not happening. I mean, and if
and the court said so. They're like, you have no reason to think that that's a problem. She's like, worked with Hobby Lobby for like over 20 years. She still works for Hobby Lobby.
Right. Like, they're not going to abuse your female employees. Like, that is the dumbest, like, from among all the dumb arguments from conservatives. That is the dumbest one. Like, this whole washroom thing is like, you're not protecting anybody. Okay. And I'm sure at some point we're going to get some reports of something happening that makes conservative go like, we told you so, we told you so. But the thing is, like, a lot of these people don't understand how numbers work. Like, you have to show the rate that this is happening compared to abuses that are like happening in other situations. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, in other, like, if you at some, because right now they don't even have examples, right, that they could refer to. That like, oh, see, this is why we need protection here. And again, this, you're saying that there's not even children here, these are adults, right? Like, this is illegal already, right? Like, this is like, you're not protecting anybody. There should already be laws that is like rules that are against abuse.
It would be a crime if a cis woman did that to a cis woman in there.
Exactly, right? So just like, just don't let cis women be with cis women. But like,
no one's allowed to pee together, okay?
And like, then, and there's many other places that abuse happens. Like, what are you gonna do? Just like completely separate men and women in your entire workplace? Like, it just makes no sense. Like, statistically, you don't have higher rates of relatively, for example, to other places or by cis men, or you don't have that. Like, you don't have any data that shows that this is a concern, that this is something that you're doing that's protecting more people by not allowing trans women in women's washroom. Like, this is such a fake outrage over some. Yes, a fake outrage over something that is not happening. Like, for all the covers, go back to Christian values, right? Because as stupid as that is a better cover for your bigotry than this pretending that you're protecting women in washroom, because that is like so ridiculous. Like, it's even more ridiculous than, this is our Christian values cover for your
they
bigotry.
have their
or just own it, or just own it. Just come out and be like, guys, it's exactly what you're saying. We're just transphobic. Okay, yes, you got us. Okay,
what do you think is happening here?
What do you think? Yeah, just own it. Just say it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
All right. So you were saying, I interrupted you. You're saying something. You remember?
You,
About
I
the-
was, you startled it out of me. I don't even remember what I was saying. He's like, oh, snap. We
Yes.
need a good
Okay.
nickname for when you have a smackdown. You know how there's the hitch slap?
Oh no, I don't.
No, I
that
want a good nickname for an Armin smackdown. Someone please
Make it-
provide me with some good suggestions.
Make it something that would make fun of me rather than being self-congratulatory. Right? You know, it'll be something like ridiculous rather than, you know, I don't want to feel like.
Oh, so
you know,
now
oh,
you're
yeah.
not self-congratulatory? That's new.
I am too self-congratulatory. I'm just saying I don't need other people to encourage that.
You don't.
I don't. I actually. All right. Yeah, okay, cool. I know that it doesn't have their same ring to it.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, you know, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.